Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Smart Contact, where smart people come to contact crypto. I'm Jonathan. I'm your guy who's into cryptocurrency, rock and roll, most of all, journalism. And I've been obsessed with cryptocurrency for over a year now. And so let's dive into another five things video. Today we're going to be talking about Russia, Ukraine, Europe, Queen, Japan, and Jerome Powell, along with my thoughts, which is actually tied into the market watch. So Bitcoin right now has been on a bit of a tear, as you can see if you look at the past 7 days. Really, last night it took off, and so things are looking good right now in the crypto market, and I'll be going a lot more into that. So Bitcoin at 21.5. We have Ethereum on the verge of the merge. At 17, well above that 16 resistance and slash support. And now let's take a look at the cool kid in town, Cardano, underperforming to the rest of the market. But their thing is, a week after the merge, their Basil hard fork, or Basil, I don't know how it's said. I've heard it both ways. Both probably work. And so yeah, we'll see what happens on the 22nd, which is their Basil hard fork date. But we'll get a little bit more into that. So first, I always like talking about the war in Ukraine and Russia. Why is that? This is a cryptocurrency channel. It is because the market is not going to turn around whenever we're on the brink of World War III with all of the ingredients there. And there's always a possibility for literally the end of the market. um, with World War III on the table. That is just too big of a macro factor to ignore on even one five things video. And so, but it's good news today if you like Ukraine. So Russia Ukraine war list of key events, day 199. So tomorrow's going to be the 200th day anniversary. Now, Ukrainian forces have been seizing an expanding area previously held by Russia. Fighting, we got Vladimir Zelensky's in Ukraine, liberated more than 30 settlements in Kharkiv, um, which is in the Donbass region to the east. The east is always harder to get because they leaned more towards Russia in the first place, more towards communism, like Belarus, unlike the west, which is more like Europe, the rest of Europe. And Zelensky met with the head of the Turkish president, would establish a factory in Ukraine to build drones. So becoming stronger with Turkey, which is kind of an outlier in the um, European Union, and then, or in NATO. I'm going to check really quick. So no. No, it is not in the EU. You can see it's orange right there. Um, so yes, not officially part of the European Union, but it is a part of NATO. And so that's enough about Turkey. The British military intelligence and Ukrainians are closing in on the town of Kupiansk. So the British military intelligence, which would allow a blow to Russia as the town sits on supply routes. Energy, now of course this is huge right now. European Union energy ministers gave the EC the task of pressing ahead with the cap revenue. So that means, let's see, non-gas powered producers benefiting soaring energy prices. So basically, the non-gas power, which is basically gas, is what they're having a really hard time getting because they were getting it from Russia. So what the other sources of energy were doing were just outrageously, and I guess still are, outrageously price gouging these people to make these profits, which is sick, but you know, that's how capitalism business works without regulation. Keep that in mind. Grain Russia's foreign minister said the deal unblock Ukrainian grain exports, but it's being fulfilled badly, so grain's not looking good. The United States is working with the UN to address Russian complaints that sanctions are hindering its food and fertilizer shipments, even though there's been no disruption to Moscow's exports. So keep an eye on that. If the United States does a little bit of lifting of the sanctions, that would be good for the markets. Nuclear, they were shelling near a nuclear power plant. UN gave them a strongly written letter saying not to do that. Diplomacy, Germany Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock has arrived in Kyiv, so Germany showing support. U.S. Janet Yellen stressed the need for a broad coalition of partners to help Ukraine and recover and rebuild. So they're already talking about rebuilding. It's another good sign. Economic losses going on here too. Russia's invasion caused more than 97 billion in damage. So relatively good news. And I'll give you a little sneak peek into my views of where the market's going. It's going to be similar to my video before last, which was one of my best videos. So this is going to be probably, you can't tell the future, but a must-see video if I'm right, and I give different reasons, different factors that you're not hearing on all the other channels. And believe me, I watch all the other channels too. I believe that we're going to make it together here in crypto. Crypto is where enlightenment and finance and technology meet, and we've got to get this right for the future generations. Now, let's move on from Russia and Ukraine war and talk more about the other parts of Europe. So, the Eurozone interest rate decision. The 6 members of the European Central Bank Executive Board of Governors and the Euro Central Banks vote on where to set rates. And so, as you can see here, in July of 2018, nothing, July of 2019, no rate hikes, no rate hikes, no rate hikes, and then bam, August, 0.5, and then bam, well, that's July, 0.5, August, bam, 1.25. And so, if that raising interest rates in Europe should, somewhat weaken the dollar, or at least not weaken the dollar, but the Dixie, the U.S. dollar index, that would come down some, which can be interpreted as weakening the dollar, but really a strong euro and a strong dollar doesn't necessarily weaken the dollar, considering we have such a stronger economy here and in the United States. So yeah, keep an eye on that. This is another good sign for the forecast 125. So these are the forecasts. At least so yeah, this is just good news for short-term price. Now let's talk about why I say short-term. Short to mid-term. Wave of protests in Europe over the high cost of living. Another show that I watch all kinds of media, especially journalism related media, from the more libertarian side to the more progressive side to, of course, the mainstream media too, which one of the main reasons I do this channel is because the mainstream media has just been bastardized. I mean, it's like anti-journalism. If they say something, you can almost count on it being untrue if it's on Fox News, MSNBC, or CNN. And so, yes, I want to go more into that, but I'll save that for another video. So, yeah, this gives a little breakdown of some of the stuff that's going on over the high cost of living. And what I was about to say, Russell Brand was really calling on 1 million people to vow to not pay their bills, their energy bills, in October to send a message about the price gouging. Because if you do the math, with inflation and how much energy is going up, it's happening here too, but not as bad. And so, yeah, the French pay huge prices because Germany depends on Russian gas. The Europeans even believe that it is the bad Russians that have closed the tap of the gas. So, I mean, they don't know who to be angry at. Demonstrators demanded immediate capping of electricity prices. So that's what the demonstrators are demanding. 70,000 people participated in a demonstration in Prague in the Czech Republic. So yeah, we say America first here at America. They say Czech Republic first. When it comes to our allies, we shouldn't be screaming us first, us first, us first, and then especially going and doing deals with like Saudi Arabia and Russia and North Korea. That is putting us last. Now let's take a look here. I'm going to go into Japan now. And you might be noticing I'm doing countries and nations and areas that are tied to the US dollar, the Dixie, which everybody counter trades Bitcoin. Dixie goes down, you better expect Bitcoin to go up generally. I think there's definitely going to be a point where that's not exactly the same, but we'll see. So JapanToday.com, government unveils inflation relief package. Now, they're one of the only areas that has vowed not to raise interest rates, and now they're printing off more money, including a 50,000 yen cash handout for the lowest income people in Japan, which is about $350. Now, I don't know too much about Japan, but I do know their cost of living is higher than the United States, so I don't know how much $350 is going to get you, but I don't know. I do think that's really interesting, though. And so keep an eye on that. Now and I got more on Europe and kind of Japan coming up later, and so we'll see that when it comes. Now I'm going to be talking about Michael Saylor and his plan to buy more Bitcoin with MicroStrategy. So the company has filed a prospectus supplement with the SEC in connection with the offering under the existing automatic shelf registration settlement. Okay. The company said that it intends to use the net proceeds. So they're going to sell a bunch of their shares and buy a lot of Bitcoin. Where are the exact numbers? Oh, there it is in the headline. Uh, they say to read more than the headline. Make sure you're also reading the headline because sometimes the important information's up there. So file the 8K form of the SEC agreement with Cohen, the sale of up to $500 million worth of Class A stock. So he's going to sell his stocks. And so apparently, I didn't know this until I did this research for this particular story, that they have to disclose when they're going to be selling. So, I mean, you can't be that tricky, I suppose. And this is what an 8K form is that they had to fill out: a report of unscheduled material events or corporate changes at a company that could be of importance to shareholders or the SEC, also known as the Form 8K. The report notifies the public events, including acquisitions, bankruptcy, resignation of directors, or changes in the fiscal year. So I know he recently resigned in his role as CEO. But it looks like they're keeping the same track towards Bitcoin. So that is good. And that goes back to my point. Oh, and I'm going to tie this in with something else too in a moment. All of these stories are leading till the end, so make sure you stick around. What was I going to say? But yeah, so the 5 million worth of stock. Oh yeah, so he's going to sell his stocks and buy Bitcoin, which goes into my theory of a short to mid-term rise in Bitcoin, and it may supplement some analysis done by cryptocurrency that the Nasdaq may have bottomed. At least that's the idea going on with a lot of traders and smart money. So, and that counts for something in itself. They're not always the brightest traders either. They lose maybe not as much as retail, but they definitely lose sometimes too. Oh yeah, this is another quick thing. Stick six stocks for investing in crypto mining and the metaverse long term. So a MicroStrategy did not make the list. Okay, now let's switch over here. So the Queen, the beloved Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth II has died. You know, the bedrock of modern Britain has been around for like 60 years, 50, 60 years, and he's finally passed away. All the things she saw from Adam West Batman to Robert Pattinson Batman. And so I got some things to say about this. First of all, I want to say it's a disgrace, all these meme coins that were created. A disgrace for the cryptocurrency market in a way, because it looks bad because internationally, she really wasn't that loved, but in England, our closest ally, she's beloved, and the United States is obsessed with their royalty for whatever reason. Back when I used to use Facebook, I posted like whenever the royal baby was born, like Prince Williamson or Prince William's child. I like guessed what his name would be on Facebook, and I got over 2,000 likes. I mean, that's the most I've ever gotten on a comment that I've made, and it's like probably the worst comment I've ever made. Or I was describing what the name meant. Um, and so yeah, they made a bunch of meme coins and NFTs, and then they all were rug pulls. At least at this point, that's what it looks like. Um, I think as the NFT space evolves, though, this actually will be a thing. Like right now, it's degen, people doing it, trying to rug pull. That's the sick part of crypto. You never want, much less the light to be shined on it. So, and this is exactly what this has done. That's why I'm against that at this point now, because the vultures. Now, later on, I do believe that whenever events happen, there's going to be legitimate NFTs all over the place. I think that's going to be a part of the technology. You can buy a moment or whatever. Is this one concept of it, or maybe classier NFTs that will have value, um, things like that. Not just meme coins and haphazard NFTs. So that's not all I got to say about it. So, Queen Elizabeth II, a monarch, a queen who was divinely chosen by God based on her family lineage. And so, if you're a good Christian, then she is above you because she was chosen by God to be queen. It's not very American. It's kind of un-Americans. And I want to kind of now. I'm not saying that she was. There could have been a worse queen. You know, like there could have been a worse king. I mean, she was okay for what she was pretty conservative, um, level-headed. It seems like kept to herself. Didn't like Princess Diana. Didn't like her son or grandchildren marrying anybody. I mean, nothing weird about that. And so rest in peace for her as a person. And now we got the King Charles III, the 72-year-old prince, finally becomes a king. And so we'll see what comes of it. I mean, I'm going to keep an eye on it just to see what role the monarch really has. I mean, they're doing better than like probably the other biggest monarch, Saudi Arabia. Um, they got a king, but at least they have a prime minister. Unlike Saudi Arabia, where the king's just ordering people to be hacked up in embassies, even Americans. Trump or Biden didn't do anything about it either. And so let's take a look further. Well, that's all I got to say about King Charles, other than this film, which I think is hilarious. This was made in 2017, King Charles III, or it was a show about him. So when I was doing research, I came across that. I thought it was really funny. The Queen is Dead, Long Live the King came out in 2017. So now let's look at the United States Constitution. Pretty much everything in there is anti-king, anti-queen, anti-monarch, and just making sure that doesn't happen here. Um, we got Amendment 1, freedom of speech. The queen can't just come and tell you, you can't say that, lock him up, like that's a thing in England. Amendment 2, well-regulated, the right to bear arms so we can fight back against the queen. They can't just walk in with their two guards and do whatever they want to you. No soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered. Article the third. And now let's take a look at Amendment 1. This is my favorite one, by far. I'm into journalism, so freedom of speech and rightful assembly and all that. And now let's take a look at this. No law respecting an establishment of religion. That is the most American ideal. There is no more American ideal. The United States, from the forefathers, from the very beginning, anything good about the United States, everything good about the United States, everything good about the United States is Congress shall not make, will make no law respecting an establishment of a religion. That's like Saudi Arabia. That's like ancient England. And there are people today in our government screaming that we're a Christian nation and we needed to have only Christian things taught to our children. We should allow more church in our public schools. It's insane. A lot of these mass killers come from religious backgrounds. It's not healthy. And to have religion and the state combined, because we're not a monarchy, we go based on common sense, on research, on technology, on science, not by somebody being divinely chosen by God and therefore they're better than you. I remember George Bush once said that he had God came to him in his dream and told him to invade Iraq. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. Look it up. And so, or prohibiting. So you can still practice your religion, you just can't combine it with the state. I mean, that is the most obvious thing. And the fact that there are some just purely anti-American people that are ideologically aligned with Saudi Arabia who did 9/11. It just keep an eye on that. Check yourself every once in a while. And so, yeah, this is just more on that. Bill of Rights, first clause, separation of church and state, metaphor word in early American fears of government involvement. So it's exactly, you don't want the government involved in religion. Good God. I mean, nowhere in the Bible does it mention abortion. God actually kills a ton of babies. If anything, if you had to pull an abortion argument out of the Bible, it would be not what we want to hear. So, especially when people start faking religions and then forcing it on you in the state. Okay, so now let's break away from England. Again, we did it once in 1776. Now let's do it right here, right now. Talk about the Dixie. So here, I'm going to go over this again, the basket of currencies that creates the US dollar index. We got the Great Britain pound, the Canadian dollar, the euro, Japanese yen, the Swedish krona, and the Swiss franc. Euro, you can see, is by far the most heavily weighted, and you can kind of lump in the pound that's typically going to be very similar to the euro, and same with the franc, the Swiss franc and the Swedish krona. I'm not sure if Sweden's going to end up with a euro when they enter the European Union. I don't know enough about that, but it doesn't really matter right here, right now. What does matter right here, right now is the US dollar index. So if a lot of people are speculating that the United States will only do a 0.5% basis hike, um, which would kind of go against what Jerome Powell said, saying, he's going to hit it really hard like Volcker, so we don't price in inflation and with the rate hike. So he doesn't want us to price that in forever, which would generally mean a very strong um, raising of rates to get over this hump. But then he spoke about it later and kind of pedaled back on that a little bit. Um, Maybe as certain events started to unfold. Um, so yes. And then I want to start talking about. I'm just gonna talk about the market for a few different coins that I'm into. What I think is going to happen in the market over the next few weeks. And so the five coins I'm going to talk about are Optimism, Cardano, Polygon, Jasmy, and Algorand. Start off with Jasmy. Jasmy has a fan token coming out, but they don't have a lot of tokens coming out before, so this is exciting. Not necessarily for the token itself, but possibly. Sony is the biggest, and it talks about Sony too. Former executives at Sony created Jasmy. And Sony, the heck? Sony Music Entertainment files NFT patent to validate its music. So they're moving more into crypto. This is the American side though, but Jasmy does have an American branch as well. And I believe at this point they're partnering with Solana-based NFT marketplace Snow Crash. And fellow music behemoth Universal to unleash Bob Dylan and Miles Davis NFT collection. I myself would love a Bob Dylan NFT. That sounds cool. Now, oh yeah, and so Biden also has some swagger going on, and that generally isn't going to be right before a major collapse. That's generally going to be before things get short term better. And we have this election cycle coming up here. So when November rolls around, or especially in November and October, the prices can't be horribly crashing or the Republicans will win everything. They're probably going to win anyway because the Democrats are terrible at what they do 99% of the time. Um, well, what they're trying to do oftentimes doesn't seem that bad. What they say seems good a lot of the times, but then they never do it or they do the opposite. They'll have the majority in everything and they'll be like, the Republicans are just too strong. It's like, that's not the real reason it's not the real reason, is it? um, that's why a lot of people on the right, they don't realize how right wing the majority of the Democratic Party is. They are the party of Bush. There is no left. I mean, the people, you know, if you put a marijuana ballot in any state and it's going to pass, not because a bunch of people like getting high, because it makes no sense that it is classified as, that you can go to prison federally for something that's so culturally accepted and legal in so many states and has so many health benefits. Um, and of course, all the problem it creates with incarceration, people getting searched for just because somebody says they smelled something in the car, things like that. Um, yeah. And so that is another major reason. Also, I wanted to look at the NASDAQ. Where was that? I feel like I was... Right, here it is. So also the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ, and I got this from cryptocurrency, so this is not me. I got this from Crypto Kirby. Um, but he points out that this is a historic, like bottoming. There's certain signals here, and you can check out Crypto Kirby's video, that are pointing to the Nasdaq to look like it may have hit a bottom, and it's looking a lot stronger than the crypto market. And so that is something to keep in mind as well. Would tie back into what we were talking about with Saylor. Um, if he's selling his stock to buy more Bitcoin, maybe the stocks are going to rise right now, Bitcoin along with it, and then there will be another crash, but the stock market doesn't fall nearly as low as certain stocks, and the Nasdaq doesn't fall as low as certain stocks and crypto, giving Cam that opportunity to sell when it's higher and then buy when it's lower. That would be a pretty smart micro strategy. And so now let's take a look at those coins and I'll give some little price predictions and some general ideas if I can do basic TA. Show you that a little bit. So let's start off with so optimism. So I listened to BitBoy Crypto and I bought up here. Um, they're like right in, it was like right in here, something like that. And then it just kept going down. So I sold like right in here, like once I realized it's not going to immediately go back up. And then I bought back in around about 125. And so now I have this little profit here. Whenever it's a new coin like this, I mean, look at all. This goes back to May of 2022. So it was like they handed it out to everybody who was using the Optimism ecosystem before they had a coin. It was airdropped to them, and then you could buy it everywhere. And so it's really hard to give price predictions on coins, but I do believe it will at least go back to its $1.20 with the ETH merge, assuming that everything keeps rising as I think it will throughout October. Then the end of September, October. So I could see it getting up here, possibly hitting all-time highs. I mean, it's definitely a manageable market cap of 320 million. And so see if we can get that up to a billion. That'd be a nice little 3x. So keep an eye on that one. Now let's take a look at Cardano. And so, whew, Cardano's been a straight line down pretty much, and there is so heavy resistance. Let's do all. Heavy resistance right here, at like 40, 45 cents. Let's just say 40 cents. A lot of support and resistance there. It's been bouncing around in this like 40 to 60 cent range. Well, I guess I can just check real quick. Let's do 3 months. It's been bouncing around this, 40 to 60 cent range for over 3 months now. And so we'd have to, I think it will at least get up to the 60. I don't think there's any chance it won't for the Basil hard fork. But can we get like here to like 80 cents and maybe make that be like a new bottom? That would be asking a lot. That would be asking a lot, but considering it's been just so gradually falling for so long, it didn't have like a death drop like most of the other coins it did, because I mean, as you can see, it's just really just been going straight down. I mean, it's like that, but no. Well, it pretty much did go like straight down there, but the other coins were like bouncing and staying higher here. It kept its downward trajectory. And so maybe that does give it a different kind of potential to rise and get us back in this range of like the 860 to, you know, 80 cents, where the dollar's the top part of the range. I know it was stuck there for a little bit too. Um, so yeah, I would give this price prediction for at least 60 cents. That would be a good time to take profits. In my opinion, nothing I say is financial advice. I do not have a ton of money. I am like the rest of you. We are going to make it together. I believe in cryptocurrency and I believe in all of you. I believe in us. And so I think cryptocurrency can bring people together, people who otherwise would be divided, because this is something that they haven't had centuries, decades, years to divide us over. It's new enough that we can stay unified, stay strong, and what benefits crypto should benefit the people. And I strongly believe that we can achieve that. Let's see, what other coins did I have on here? Oh, yeah, let's look at our beloved Jasmy. And these are all coins that I've been buying over the past week or two. Jasmy is definitely a coin that I'm bullish on. I've been buying it regularly, and I plan to continue buying it throughout the bear market. I think that Sony partnership at some point it'll blow up. Not to mention, if we could just get anywhere near its November highs. I mean, I don't even think about it. I don't even care if it goes up to, these highs, like of $3, $4. I don't need all that. But I mean, even if it does get back to $1, I mean, that seems highly achievable. Considering, this, oof, that's this. See, big money gets in this sometimes. It has this, its rises are very sharp, so people gobble up some Jasmy, and it plunged. And then, I mean, this is around whenever, this is when I started the channel, like right around here. Let's do your date. I started the channel like right around here, and I talked about buying Jasmy, and then I immediately did this. So that was a great way to start off the channel. Um, and so keep that in mind. I do think Jasmy still has a long way to go. And I don't really have any price predictions for Jasmy. It's not followed the market, like that rise that it had that I showed you a moment ago. That really wasn't along with the rest of the market. Um, there's a lot of development going on behind the scenes, though, and a very active community. So I just have a lot of faith in this coin. But price predictions, I mean, because I don't have any plans on really selling it unless it gets back up to, if it gets up here, if it gets back to 4, then I will take some profits. If it gets back up to 4 cents. But I'm waiting for it to at least get back up to like that, at least 15 cents, at least 8 cents. So I will keep you posted on that one. I'm expecting real gains from Jasmy at some point, though. The blockchain of Japan is what it says on their website. Big on Internet of Things. I've done a video on them. You can go back and check it. Now let's take a look. Other coins that I have is Polygon and Algorand. So Polygon, I have been bullish on forever. I've made some money with Polygon. I was buying it back at 30 cents last year. I mean, look at the other coins we looked at. This is Polygon over the past 3 months. They have partnership. They have like exclusive partnerships with Disney and Facebook and BMW. There's so many. This has its feet. Polygon is such a successful project. Like every aspect of a project that you can look at to see if it's doing well, Polygon is just blowing them out of the water. I was listening to somebody on I think it was maybe Paul Barron's network or maybe around the blockchain, but somebody was talking about, yeah, I think it was around the blockchain, how they can't, all crypto projects can't be held to the same standard as Polygon when they're first starting out. I'm like, that sounds like just another advertisement for Polygon. Like, sounds more pro Polygon than anti-regulation. And they're like, we can't all be as good as Polygon, and try harder. So yeah, and then Algorand. I'm ending on this one because I have another video coming out very soon about Algorand. Still gathering some research. I'm going to watch that Lex Friedman interview of the CEO or the creator of Cardano. He's big in blockchain technology, and let's see, Algorand's looking more like the rest of the market, not pulling a Polygon on us. So yeah, Algorand has this partnership coming up with the World Cup. That's why I'm going to be doing this video. And it also has just so much positivity going for it as far as the partnerships and the team. And it's also been lauded by Charles Hoskinson, the creator of Cardano. Wow, yeah, this is not looking great. This here over the past 3 months. I could say that it could get up to, because they also have some upgrade coming. Because they're talking about it being a real bear market rally. For this one, I'm going to say, let's see, what was the one before this? Like the previous support and resistance range was like 70 cents to 90 cents. I'm going to guess we get up to 70 cents. I don't know how crazy this is my first like bear market. So we're learning this together. That's why we're doing the videos, we're watching the videos, and we're learning it together. I educate myself with other YouTubers, with videos, with articles constantly. And so we're going to get through this together. We're going to make money. We're going to change the world. Me, you, and everybody else. I think cryptocurrency, it has the power to bring us together. And a lot of people talk about toxicity in the crypto space. And my response is, have you been to any other spaces? There's a lot of toxicity in this world, and we all just need to talk about the things we agree upon and then go from there. Because we'll be like, okay, we both like this, we both like this, then we disagree on this other thing, but we agree on these other two. Let's find a common sense solution to where all of the issues work. And so cryptocurrency is doing that. It's all about interoperability. So we'll make this work. Thanks so much, all you lovers and the loners alike. Have a beautiful night, and thanks for tuning in to Smart Contact.